Okay, so hi everybody. Okay, well now we are really in the autumn. I had to put the lights, it's a bit dark and it rained a little bit today. So we're definitely in the autumn, okay? But we had an amazing summer and September and until now, so really we cannot complain. So we're at the end of our second series, the Golden Age of Portugal with the discoveries. And I said that I would do a special about the Manueline architecture and Luís de Camões, the Lusíadas. Manuel architecture from the name of the King Manuel I during the really important part of the discoveries with Vasco da Gama, Pedro Álvares Cabral, etc., etc., and Bartolomeu Dias, if you remember. So there were great achievements also in architecture during Manuel I's reign and the discoveries voyage. A new style emerged, named after the king, Manueline Architecture. This is seen today in Lisbon Jerónimos Monastery and the Belém Tower, as well as the convent of Tomar that we spoke about, and in the Batalha Monastery, and in many churches around the country. So if you come here and have the time to spend a bit more time going around the country, there's so many things to see, and I can prepare a little itinerary for you. So the Lisbon Jerónimos Monastery and Belém Tower are two monuments we are recommending you to visit while here, but in a different way, away from the crowd and normal touristic way. We're actually going to do it the long weekend of November. So it's the tour by bike organized by our friend Bork. You probably seen the video that I posted on YouTube some time ago. So go on the website www.lisbonnaturally.com and go to the history section. You will see we talk about the monastery and the tower in Belém. So the Manuel architectural style flourished in the 15th and 16th century in Portugal, so exactly during the reign of Manuel I, of course, and the age of the discovery, and it continued after his death in 1521. So it is essentially a Portuguese variant of late Gothic and is typified by maritime motifs of the Portugal age of discovery and by elaborate all-over decoration. So that's how you can define the Manueline style. The most important motifs are the armillary sphere, which actually represent the celestial globe with the Earth in its center, and it was a navigational device used by the Portuguese for measuring the position of the stars and became the emblem of Manuel I himself. I'll put some pictures and maybe a video if I can find one on Facebook, okay? Other motifs of the Manueline architecture were the cross of the Order of Christ, of course, and twisted ropes. You will see on all those architecture, it's amazing. Twisted ropes, it's really, really amazing. And later, Manueline schemes will sometimes incorporate Italian Renaissance ornamentation. So the ornate window at the Convento de Cristo in Tomar is probably the best known single motif of Manuel architecture, illustrating its exotic naturalism and complex use of maritime detail. Yeah, I've seen that window. It's again. I'll try to see if I can find some pictures to put on Facebook. Okay. Then there is also the Dominican Abbey of Santa Maria da Vitória in Batalha. Is another masterpiece of Portuguese Gothic architecture and very much worth a visit too. The abbey celebrates the victory of Jean I in Aljubarrota in 1385, which we covered in our first series. You remember Jean I, a very important figure in the early years of the Kingdom of Portugal. This is the episode which really consolidated the independence of the Kingdom of Portugal over the Kingdom of Leon and Castile. So it was actually uma batalha, a battle between the Portuguese and the Spanish, not so much the Moors, more the Spanish. So the King Jean I vowed to dedicate a magnificent church to the Virgin if he won the battle. And the tomb of Jean and his wife, you remember Philippa of Lancaster, which really sealed that amazing alliance with England. So his tomb and his wife are lying hand in hand in the abbey, as well as the tomb of their son Henry the Navigator. So very, very important in the history of Portugal that is not a convento, yeah, the Abbey of Battaglia. So with Jean first and his wife Philippa of Lancaster, and their son, the Henry the Navigator. So important place to visit if you have time. And then finally, there is also worth mentioning the Bucasso Palace near Coimbra, originally built as a royal hunting lodge, but that's much later, at the end of the 19th century, and today a luxurious hotel, illustrate the persistence of the style in Portuguese design, which continues to this day. So a few places to visit to relive and experience all the unbelievable history we've so far covered, from the birth of the Kingdom of Portugal to the age of discovery. It's like a puzzle where all the pieces come together. So you've got these historic places like, you know, the Jeronimo Monastery and the Tower of Belém in Lisbon. And then if you have the time, the Convento de Cristo in Tomar, and the Monastery of Battaglia and the Bucasso Palace close to Coimbra. And this was a 2-day tour which we can organize for you while we are here. And it's really, really worth visiting those sites. It can be a round trip. It's about 2 hours drive from Lisbon, yeah. And then, you know, that gives you the opportunity to experience the beautiful, beautiful scenery and countryside of Portugal, which for me sometimes remind me of the countryside of England, you know, in the Kent. Very, very beautiful woods and little roads. If you rent a car, it's really worth it. And I would add Nazaré, a beautiful seaport, and the Alcobaça Monastery, which is the largest church in Portugal, built in 1153, renowned for its simple medieval architecture, to commemorate Afonso Henrique's victory over the Moors in 1147 and celebrate the birth of the nation of Portugal. You remember. But that's not the Manueline Architecture. That's much earlier in 1153. But I would add that to your trip. I would go to Nazaré and the Alcobaça Monastery. Very beautiful. Okay, I think I'm going to finish this video now, and then I will tell you about the amazing personality of Louis de Camões in another series next week, okay? And then we will start our third series. Sorry, this will be a second special. And then there will be another special about the fact that the Portuguese went as far as Japan and China. Important part of the history also, which I didn't know much about. So I'll tell you about that next week. And then we'll start, not the week after, and then we'll start the third series about well, Spain coming back and you know, Portugal falling again in the hands of the Spanish rulers, the Spanish kings, and then a long war of independence where they finally really broke for good from the Spanish. But that's for the third series, okay? So next week, Louis de Camões. The week after, I'll do a little a series about the fact that the Portuguese, you know, not only went to India, but much further to Japan and China. And then we'll start our third series. Okay? All right, thanks a lot. Don't forget, like the video, go on the YouTube channel, click on the subscribe button, visit the website, www.lisbonnaturally.com. And I hope you enjoy all those videos, and hope to see you here very soon. Okay? Thanks. Bye.